Hello, here we are at our 8th session. We will continue talking about Entre Dos Aguas, but this time we'll go into detail because we will discuss the first guitar. That is, the guitar played by Paco de Lucia, specifically the solo part. I should start with a few disclaimers. The first one is that I personally haven't played Entre Dos Aguas in many years, and now I'm going to show you a short video of myself playing it when I was a young guitarist, quite aggressive and determined. The second disclaimer is that you can definitely find the sheet music for Entre Dos Aguas online. As I mentioned last time, Entre Dos Aguas relies heavily on improvisation. Of course, the main theme needs to be played, otherwise it's not recognizable. But fundamentally, everyone can interpret it in their own way, okay? Now, I'll show you this short video. Don't laugh, because it's a video transferred from a VHS tape, so the quality is really very, very poor, okay? See you in a bit. So, the main thing I want to focus on in this video is the topic of picado, that is, fast scales. In reality, there are 3 essential sections in this piece, each involving a different scale. I'd like to briefly talk about picado, but I'll go into more detail in a later video because it's a rather delicate subject that's very important to me. Now, the word picado has its intrinsic meaning. Picado refers to a staccato note, which is indicated on the staff by a dot above or below the note. Okay? I'll show you a picture so we're on the same page. So, I know I'm about to get criticized by all the flamenco guitarists. But picado isn't just about using a rest stroke. It's about using a rest stroke and a stop. Basically, when I play a note, for example with my index and middle fingers, I strike with the index, rest it on the string above, and right after, the middle finger stops the note I just played. This way, it's already positioned to play the next note. Of course, the reverse also happens. This technique ensures that I can hit the string securely without missing it. And by doing this, the space I use is minimal. That's why when you watch videos of Paco de Lucia or other guitarists who are masters of picado, it seems like their fingers are almost still. In reality, they are moving. Another important point, and I'll probably get criticized by other guitarists for this, picado doesn't necessarily mean using only the index and middle fingers, absolutely not. It can also be done with the index and ring fingers, or even with 3 fingers. There are flamenco guitarists who play with 3 fingers. So, below the video, you'll find a link to the Flamenco Facile platform where you can download the sheet music for the scales we're about to study, okay? And now, let's move on to the scales, and I'll show you how to practice them, okay? See you in a bit. I have to say, honestly, that I'm very happy to be making these videos during this period because, after not having played Entre Dos Aguas for so many years, the fact that I have to challenge myself again motivates me to restudy all the more complicated parts from a virtuosic perspective. So, I'd suggest we make it a challenge between us. That way, Next week when we meet again, after studying all week, we can see the progress we've made.
Vediamo che livelli abbiamo raggiunto. Allora, sostanzialmente le scale obbligate.
So, essentially, there are 3 key scales. One of these is used both in the second and third parts of Entre Dos Aguas, and it's exactly this scale.
Ed è esattamente questa scala.
It's found after this theme. Etc. Actually, this scale also appears in the finale, and it's preceded by another scale, which is this one. And then there's this one here. Okay, these are the first 2 scales. I recommend that you first study these 2, as they are shorter, before tackling the longer one that appears in the second part. The notes are as follows. I'll repeat. There's a link below the video that takes you to a Flamenco Facile page where you can download these exercises, and there's also audio if you'd like. Okay, so I'd say the first thing to do is to get a metronome, because you'll need to practice very slowly since speed is simply the result of precision, there's no other way. So, once we know all the steps to take, it will naturally become easier to play faster and with more confidence, okay? So, I'm going to grab the metronome. So, on the sheet music, the metronome speed for the quarter note is set at 160. It's quite fast, not extremely fast, but fast enough. I'd suggest starting at 100 or 120 at most, or you can even halve the metronome speed by setting it to 60 or 50. Let's try both and see which feels better, okay? I currently have it set to 120. Or we can practice with the metronome at 60. Just a moment while I set it. It's the same. Perfect. The longer scale obviously requires more attention. Now I'll try playing it with the metronome at 60. So, I'd say that's all for today. We have the material to practice. Let's see what speed we can reach next week, okay? I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel and join the Flamenco Facile free members area, okay? See you soon. Bye.